Hey guys, and welcome to a new video here on the Shreducator YouTube channel. My name is Emmanuel Knorr, but you can also call me the Shreducator because that's what I like to do. I like to shred. But fortunately, today I'm not only here to show you guys some shred, but also to guide you through the latest release of GGD plugins, which happens to be the Studio Cabs Zilla Edition. And really, the name makes us guess what this plugin is about. It is an IR loader that is working with the IRs from Zilla Cabs. So in this video we will go through a couple of sounds and playing examples from my favorite preset that I did. I will also show you guys how the interface looks. We will, reamp some sounds live that I recorded. But first I will explain you guys everything you need to know about this plugin. So let's start from the beginning because, maybe some beginners might watch this video. What is an IR? That is something I just mentioned in the beginning. IR stands for impulse response. So an impulse response kind of tries to capture the way how a cabinet would sound, because when we're playing the guitar, we are having our guitar, then we have the amp, and the amp always goes to a cab. So there's that signal chain. Even if you're playing a combo amp, you have the preamp, you have the power amp, and then there is the cab. That is something that we might see just as one unit amp, but it's not. So let me just show you guys with an example I recorded how a amp sounds on its own without any cab or impulse response on it. Doesn't sound too good, right? So the sound that we are hearing in the end is really guitar, amp, which consists mostly of preamp, power amp, and then we have cab. All right. So an impulse response is really just the sound of your cabinet in a digital format, so to say. But why would you do such a thing? Well, there are several reasons for that. One would be, for example, you want to have a digital amp. There are lots of examples out there. Camper, XFX, bias, all that stuff working fully digital. So you don't need to put the amp to your cab, but you can go direct to mixing desk interface, whatever, right? That is the one reason. Also, it makes life easier because you can play silent. If you're using an IR, you would just go with the amp to your computer, so you don't have to mic your cab up. You're just putting the amp signal directly into your computer, and then the IR plugin does the rest for you. So it's actually pretty useful if you think about it. Alright, next term we have to talk about might be Zilla Cabs. Zilla Cabs is a custom shop for cabinets from the UK. So these guys are pretty known in the scene for making a real high quality product that especially professionals also really value. And one of these professionals is Naughty Get Good. So that is the next thing that we have to talk about. Naughty Get Good, and also his company GGD, which stands for Get Good Drums probably. But anyway, Naughty Get Good used to be the bass player of Periphery. Well, he still is, but he's not playing with them live. He's a kind of, a member that is only working in the studio and, doing songwriting. And he also gained a big reputation as a good producer. So over the years, he produced probably like all of the Periphery albums and also a couple of other albums from like great metal bands. And he really is a kind of music and audio freak, I would say. So I've seen a couple of videos from him, and it doesn't matter what he does, if it's drum libraries, if it's producing or whatever, it's always worked out to such a level of passion and detail that is kind of unbelievable. So Naughty is really one of the probably best producers out there nowadays for heavy music. Well, anyways, a couple of years ago he started a company called GGD. These guys started out doing drum libraries that I personally use to date, but with the time they also started doing different products. For example, camper presets and compressor plugins, mixing plugins, all that stuff. And their latest release is the thing that this whole video is about, the Zilla Cabs Studio IR plugin. So I hope at this point, even if you did not hear of any of these guys and things before, that you now know what we're talking about. So let's go a little deeper into the plugin. The plugin gives you a selection of 9 different cabs, and I think it's also worth mentioning that one of these cabs was custom made just for this plugin. Also, you can choose between 7 different microphones and I think 10 different speakers. And as I've mentioned in the beginning, mostly we perceive sound as a final product pretty subjectively, but if we start to take this product and split it into its different parts, then there's so many things we have to think about. So the room, the microphone, the speaker, the cab, the way the cab is built, the material the cab is built of, and so many different factors. Some people even say like the temperature or all these kind of things. All these factors influence the sound. So there are cabinet simulations out there, and I've used some for years, but I've never seen a cabinet simulation that gives me that much freedom of choice when it comes to find my personal favorite sound. And not only if you are a beginner and just want to have a nice sound, you can just use a preset and go for it. But also if you like a kind of sound freak or sound lover that has certain preferences, like for example, certain microphones that you love, this plugin really gives like a great experience for everyone. So the one that just want to have a good sound fast and that's it, or the one that really wants to work out every single detail of that sound. But anyway, I will show you like the whole user experience in a second. What I want to mention though is that if you have found your ultimate sound within that plugin and combine different cabs, different mics and everything, you can export this IR so that you can use it on an external device. And for me, that is a really awesome thing, because when I'm touring, I am using an amp. I used to use a digital device for years, but Hugh Johnston Kentner made me love amps again. But anyway, what I want to mention is that I like to use a cabinet simulation so that I'm not relying on my cabinet on stage. It just makes sense to me. I love to use cabs, as you can see here, but on the road it's really a big deal to set everything up that it sounds as good as in the studio. So the cab simulation for a mid-size band as Majesty is really the way to go. And I've been using a small, let me show it to you. I've been using this guy for years, the Muro Radar, which is a pretty good cabinet simulation, especially for the price. But this device allows me to import external IRs and I can basically make my dream sound up in the studio and then take it with me on the road. Isn't that awesome? So I think that's all about the important features worth mentioning. So let's stop talking about the plugin, but let me show you the plugin. So here we go. Alright, so let's start by going through some presets that Misha Mensur made. Let's go for basic metal first. Let's go to the beginning again. It sounds really thick. It's not as mid-based as the one that I did, because I really like mid-focused lead sounds, but it's also really like tasty lead sound, really tight lead sound especially. Let's move on a bit. Maybe we'll find some more sustained lead playing here. Yeah, it's really clear. Really makes fun for lead playing especially. Alright, so let's go to a rhythm section. So where can we find rhythm section? Let me see if we got some here. Maybe. Yeah, that's more the type of music that Misha is doing probably. So let's go for that. So it really handles it well, considering that it's a 7-string guitar and tuned to B. Let's go for another preset. Let's go to Genty. Might fit this style a little more. Oh yeah, it's a little tighter. Loses some volume and that wall of sound kind of feeling, but that's what you're going for. If you're doing Genty, you want to have a tight sound instead of a wall of sound. Sounds really enjoyable. So let's go to the Swedish technique, because, you know, Swedish death metal is what we all like, don't we? Oh, that sounds so Swedish, yeah. Alright, so what I still like to check out is Warm and Fat, because it sounds good, especially like with the stereo set. Oh yeah, that was a good thing for shredding. So, well, that sounds good as well. Especially you can like feel the stereo touch here, don't you? Sounds like being surrounded by guitar. Okay, so since Nolly is, like, as I mentioned before, one of the best producers out there, let's go for some of his presets as well. So as we are at the shredding part, let's check out Thick Vintage Lead. Oh man, that's so tasty. I'd say with just a little tweaking that can totally be an album sound of a high quality fully produced album. Okay, so what else do we got that might sound interesting? Fatty Fat Boy. Okay. Yeah, this is more focused on like low mids and stuff like that. Sounds really creamy. Oh, can't play the lick. Let's skip that. While it's thick and fat, it really has enough definition still left for the shredding stuff. So as you can see, all of these presets sound wicked. So if you guys want to make up your own preset, that's also not a problem. And, you know, let us just try to do that. So let's get rid of all of the amplifiers first. Oops. So what is left is this. Nothing. Right, the sound we had in the beginning as well. So let's try by adding a 4x12. So let's go for the standard one. No, let's go for the straight one. Pitch 30 sounds nice. SM57 sounds also nice. I mean, that's heavenly already, isn't it? So let's add some stuff to that. How about a 2x12? Let's go for the super fat, no, for the normal fat boy. I really love vintage 30s, but yeah, let's go for the greenbacks just to have some variation in it. And also, like with the microphone, let's go for the C414. The SM57 is like, though it's a cheap mic, it's a classic for guitar, and I really like. We always use it on every Majesty album, I think. Especially like for lead sounds, I like to mix it up with, you know, in a condenser mic like the C414, because this SM57 sounds really aggressive. Obviously, that's what you want. But though for leads, you might add a little, you know, thickness and creaminess with the C414. So let's go for that, and let's lower the volume a bit. Hope you get what I said. So if we mute it, very high frequency focus and also very aggressive. But if we add the C414 in, so you can really feel that, you know, it becomes a little thicker. Okay, so now I also like the stereo touch we had before. So let's go for a little smaller cap this time. How about the Fat Baby 1x12, so that we have 4x12, 2x12, 1x12. And now go for the stereo miking. How does it sound? That sounds really like, you know, natural kind of reverb thing. So sometimes if I add reverbs and effects in post, it sounds a little artificial. But with this special room style IR, it really has a natural, great sounding reverb kind of touch. Oh, me trying to tap, let's skip that. So not only for leads, but also for chord style playing, the room mic really does its job, doesn't it? Alright, so that was just a pretty quick and simple overview. So that is really how easy you can, you know, come to great results just using any preset or just messing around with it. And, you know, we all have our personal sound preferences, but in the end, I think that every cab is so well done that we can't get anything that, you know, doesn't sound good if I just go through like every cat on its own. All of them sound just phenomenal. It's so well done, this plugin, so you will have a great time messing around with that, because you can't basically get any sound that's bad. So guys, let's go back to the main cam.
Alright guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I really hope that you enjoy this plugin just as much as I do. So if you like the content, please consider subscribing, leave a comment, share the video, do all the good stuff that helps me grow this channel. And you know, if you want to learn how to play guitar from me and how to improve your shreds and whatever, you can just, you know, go down to the description box and join me on Patreon, because I offer some cool services as one-to-one Skype lessons, for example. Alright guys, thank you once again. I hope that you have a great time using this plugin, and yeah, see you in the next video.